I'm going to show you how to create the most powerful and evil adventuring party for Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord for the NES. Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord was the first game in the Wizardry series and was originally developed by Andrew Greenberg and Robert Woodhead. In 1980, Norman Siratek formed SirTech Software and launched a beta version of the product at the 1980 Boston Computer Convention. The final version of the game was released in 1981, and in 1987, it found its way to the Nintendo Entertainment System. The game was one of the first Dungeons & Dragons style role-playing games to be written for computer play, and the first such game to offer color graphics. Wizardry was also the first true party-based role-playing video game, and the party is what we'll be focused on in this video. Now we're going to do things a bit in reverse. First, we're going to look at all the strategies and ingredients it takes to make the perfect party. Then we'll take a deep dive into the castle menu to see all the different places your adventuring party can go. After the main title screen, you're taken to the game's main menu, or castle menu. Here, you'll want to go to the edge of town. At the edge of town, you'll be inside of another menu, and here you'll want to select Training Grounds. Inside the Training Grounds, you have several more options. You can create, inspect a character that you've just created or one that's already in your roster. You can delete a character. You also have the ability to change their name, even change their class if their ability score allows it, or you can just leave, which means you exit the training ground menu. But before we assemble our adventurers, let's go over the races, classes, and alignment of the characters because those are critical in their development. The 5 races used in Wizardry are Human, Elf, Dwarf, Gnome, and Hobbit, and each character has their own specific strengths and weaknesses. These strengths and weaknesses are determined by 6 main stats. Strength dictates how much armor your hero can wear and what weapons they can use. IQ, or Intelligence Quotient, dictates your magical strength with spells and spells learned. Piety, it's kind of like your holy IQ. It dictates the use of healing magic and smiting the undead. Vitality dictates your hit points and overall health. Agility dictates your speed, hand-eye coordination, weapon use, and disarming traps. And finally, luck. I'll be honest, I have no idea what luck is doing. The rumor is that as it got higher, it would help you with disarming traps and finding specific treasure, but I can neither confirm nor deny that. Human stats are a bit more balanced, but they have a slight deficit when compared to other characters. Humans and gnomes are your best candidates for getting ninjas later in the game. And hobbits really aren't good for anything since luck isn't very important in the game. Now let's go over all the classes, what their requirements are, and what alignments they can be. Wizardry has 8 classes, 4 regular and 4 elite. We'll start with the regulars first. The first one up is the fighter. They have a high hit point growth and are able to use most weapons and armor. They gain an extra attack every 4 levels. The prerequisite to be a fighter is 11 strength, and they can be good, neutral, or evil. Next up is the mage. They have low hit points. They can use a few weapons and can only be equipped with robes. They're able to use mage spells. The prerequisite to be a mage is 11 IQ. They can be good, neutral, or evil. Up next is the cleric. They have decent hit points, they're able to fight well, but they're hindered by lower strength and weapon and armor choices when compared to a fighter. They use cleric spells and can dispel undead creatures. Just a special side note, if you dispel a monster, you don't get any experience points from it. The prerequisite to be a cleric is 11 piety, and they can be good or evil. The final regular class is thief. They have average hit points and are limited to using daggers, short swords, bows, and can wear leather armor and equip small shields. The prerequisite to be a thief is 11 agility, and they can be either neutral or evil. Now let's look at the 4 elite classes. First is the wizard. a hybrid cleric mage with slightly lower hit point growth than a cleric. They're able to use cleric equipment, and they can cast spells from both sets and identify unknown items. They gain spells more slowly than pure mages. With a decent bonus roll, you can use this class with a new character. The prerequisites to be a wizard are 12 IQ and 12 piety. They can be either good or evil. Next is the samurai. It's a hybrid fighter mage. At level 4, they slowly start to gain mage spells, thus their spellcasting abilities are not as strong as a pure mage. With a decent bonus point roll, you can use this class with a new character. The prerequisite to be a samurai is 15 strength, 11 IQ, 10 piety, 14 vitality, and 10 agility. Samurai can be either good or neutral. Next is the Lord. It's a hybrid fighter cleric. At level 4, they slowly gain clerical spells, as well as the Dispel ability. Thus, their spellcasting abilities are not as strong as a pure cleric. Their mage counterpart is the Samurai. Though Lords are slightly stronger, they are the only elite class that require a good alignment. It's very difficult, if near impossible, to start the game with this class due to the high stat roll you'll need. The prerequisite to be a Lord is 15 strength, 12 IQ, 12 piety, 15 vitality, 14 agility, and 15 luck. Finally, the ninja. They're able to use the same equipment as a fighter, but they fight better both unarmed and unarmored. They land more critical hits than any other class in the game. They have average hit point growth, and they're able to deal with traps like a thief. Ninjas are the strongest frontline class in the game, and it is near impossible to start the game with this class. The prerequisite to be a ninja is you must have 17 points in all 6 statistics, and their alignment has to be evil. Now that we've got all of the ingredients to make an adventuring party, let's make the most powerful one that we can. As we saw on the chart earlier, humans seem to be pretty well-rounded, so this is the race we'll want to use to make a samurai out of. You'll want your samurai to be neutral in alignment. I won't lie, you're going to have to grind a bit to get a bonus big enough to make a human samurai. If you can get a bonus of about 23 or higher, you'll be good to go. The goal is to have 3 human samurais your front line. They'll be the top 3 characters on your party roster in town and when you enter the dungeon. Now, we need some magic. After your samurai are made, you'll want 2 evil elven wizards. Since elves already start off with a 10 IQ and a 10 piety, and wizards only need 12 IQ and 12 piety, getting a bonus of 4 or higher really makes it a no-brainer for a wizard. And finally, we need a medic, one that battles the undead. Grab one more elf and make them your evil cleric. Since elves already start off with a piety of 10, and to make a cleric you only need a piety of 11, grabbing an elf for a cleric, again just like the wizard, is really a no-brainer. A quick note for the reasons behind your alignment. If you attack a friendly encounter, your party will shift towards evil. If you choose to let friendly encounters pass unharmed, your party will shift towards good. If a character's alignment changes to one not allowed by that class, like if a thief became good, then that character won't be able to gain any more levels until it changes to something acceptable. Good characters cannot travel with evil characters, and vice versa, and neutral characters can travel with anyone. An evil party kills everything, which is great because you were probably going to kill everything anyway. And since neutral characters can travel with anyone, and ninjas are the most powerful class in the game and they're evil, you know. As you build your team, you're going to go through a lot of throwaway characters, characters that just didn't get the right amount of bonuses. But don't throw them away just yet. In the training grounds, you'll get up to 20 slots to keep characters on. When you reach the limit, you won't be able to create any more characters until you delete some. And here's what you're going to do with those characters before you delete them. Go back to the castle menu and go to Gilgamesh's Tavern. There, you'll assemble a team and go into one of their character menus. There's an option to pool gold, which means everyone in the group will give that character all of their money. This character is the one you'll keep bringing back to the tavern with the other throwaways and collecting money as you grind to build your dream team. Of course, once you've created a character worth keeping, they should be the one that's collecting all the money. As time passes and your final party is created, you can continue to cycle through throwaway characters to collect the right amount of money you'll need to purchase the best gear for your group. Now let's go gear up our party. Head to the castle menu and go to Boltax Trading Post. Here you'll find all of the weapons, armor, and gear for your party. I won't go through every item, but if you saved enough gold from your deleted characters, you'll be able to purchase the finest armor and weapons available, and grab some scrolls and potions for later. The game does a great job of letting you know if something can or cannot be purchased and or worn by the character. And the basic rule of thumb here is, if it's more expensive or it's only one of its kind, it's the best one to buy. After you've geared up, you can head over to other spots in the castle and check those out. The Adventurer's Inn is where you can rest, regain health, and level up. Just a quick tip, only sleep in the stables. This way you'll rest for free while leveling up, and it'll restock the healing spells to your wizards and clerics, giving them the job of healing the party with their magic. The next stop is the Temple of Cant. I always thought that temple name was weird, like did they want to say Temple of Chant but not make it that obvious? I kind of just imagine this big temple with these priests in there, and you go in for services and they just say can't do that. The temple serves as a place where characters can get healed if they are paralyzed or turned to stone. They can get resurrected if they're completely dead. Ironically, you cannot actually get health points restored in the temple, and if you were poisoned in the dungeon, you aren't anymore as soon as you leave it. And now you've got the ultimate dungeon crawling party. The only disadvantage to this party at the beginning is there's no thief. So when it's time to disarm a trap or open a chest, you may have to do it with extreme caution or just avoid it altogether. Later though, when your samurai level up to ninjas, all of those problems will be solved. Can a team like this be assembled in Wizardry's amazing sequel for the NES, Knight of Diamonds? The only way to find out is to watch this video right here. We will create the most powerful and evil party for Wizardry Knight of Diamonds for the NES. Wizardry Knight of Diamonds was the second installment for the Wizardry franchise, and while the mechanics were basically the same, the story and how it shapes the play of the game and the build of your party varies greatly. You see, in the first Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, you had 10 levels of dungeon to scour through. In Wizardry Knight of Diamonds, you only have 6, so like I said earlier, the story plays a huge role in the gameplay. In the first Wizardry, your group was after an evil wizard named Werdna. That's co-creator Andrew Greenberg's name spelled backwards. Werdna stole a powerful amulet, and throughout time, anyone trying to kill Werdna and retrieve the amulet met their doom. The Overlord at the time, Trebor, that's co-creator Robert Woodhead's name spelled backwards, devised a test of sorts to ensure that only the best can go through the dungeon and battle Werdna. The dungeon itself was a training ground for adventurers trying to get Werdna, but in reality, it was just a big hero filter. If you died, Trebor would just send more folks in until Werdna was finally defeated. But here's where you could have cheated in Wizardry 1, but you can't in Wizardry 2. In Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, you didn't have to explore all 10 levels. You could use elevators, magic, or just plain haul ass to the next set of steps to get to the next level. In Knight of Diamonds, the story and the rules have changed. So this time, a staff, not an amulet, needs to be retrieved. But in order to retrieve it, you've got to be equipped with, you guessed it, armor from the Knight of Diamonds. Unfortunately, the KOD armor has been separated and scattered throughout the dungeon. There are 5 pieces of it to find, and in order to complete the game, you have to find them all. Each level of the dungeon contains 1 piece of the Knight of Diamonds armor. The final level is where you'll don it all and see if you're worthy to wield the staff. Ironically, this game has no final boss. Getting the pieces of the armor to grab the staff is the ultimate goal. But the final level of this game is considered to be one of the hardest in all of Wizardry, so you'll need a crew of total badasses to pull it off. You've only got 6 levels of play instead of 10, so right out the gate you'll get hit hard, and you're going to need a team that can handle it. So let's assemble an adventuring party that can gather the treasure and save the kingdom again. Our same cast of races from the first Wizardry have reappeared. Humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, and hobbits are back, and their ability stats have stayed steady since the last game. Let's do a quick overview of the stats and see what they do to affect your character. Strength is the physical power of a character, and it's the primary attribute for fighters. The stronger they are, the more damage they can inflict on a foe. Next is IQ. It's the primary attribute for mages. This is what enables a mage to cast spells and also gives them a better percentage chance of the spell working. Next is piety. This is a primary attribute for clerics. This is what enables a cleric to cast spells and also give them a better percentage chance of those spells working. Next is vitality. It's the health of the character. A higher vitality translates to more hit points and also a better chance of being brought back from the dead. Agility is the ability of a character to get out of trouble faster than they got into it. It's the primary attribute for thieves. And finally, luck. The mystery factor that can have positive influences on all the above stats. Yeah, luck really seems to be a mystery factor. You can find all the treasure you need without it, and if a trap is going to kill you, there's no amount of luck that's going to save you from that. Now let's look at the classes that will create your adventuring party and what they can do. First up is the fighter. They have high hit point growth, and they're able to use most weapons and armor. Every 4th level, your fighter will gain an extra attack. A prerequisite to be a fighter is an 11 strength, and they can be good, neutral, or evil. Next is the cleric. They have a decent amount of hit points. They're able to fight well, but they're hindered by lower strength and weapon and armor choices when compared to a fighter. They use cleric spells and dispel undead creatures. Special note, if you dispel a monster, you will receive 0 XP from it. The prerequisite to be a cleric is 11 piety, and they can be good or evil. The mage is your low-level wizard. They do have a low amount of health, they're able to use a few weapons, and can only be equipped with robes. They use mage spells, and their basic prerequisite is an 11 IQ. Mages can be good, neutral, or evil. Thieves have average hit points, and they're limited to daggers, short swords, bows, leather armor, and small shields. The prerequisite to be a thief is an 11 agility, and they can be either neutral or evil. Wizards are a hybrid cleric mage with slightly lower hit point growth than a cleric. They're able to use cleric equipment, and they can cast from both spell sets as well as identify unknown items. They gain spells more slowly than the pure mages. With a decent bonus roll, you can use this class with a new character. The prerequisites to be a wizard are a 12 IQ and 12 piety, and they can be good or evil. The samurai is a hybrid fighter mage. At level 4, they'll slowly gain mage spells, thus their spellcasting abilities are not as strong as a pure mage. With a decent bonus roll, you can use this class with a new character. The prerequisites to having a samurai is 15 strength, 11 IQ, 10 piety, 14 vitality, and 10 agility. Their alignments can be good or neutral, and this is definitely a character you want to shoot for right out the gate. Lords are the hybrid fighter clerics. At level 4, they slowly gain clerical spells as well as the dispel ability, thus their true spellcasting abilities are not as strong as a pure cleric. You cannot start the game with this class due to their high stat rolls, and they're the only elite class in the game that requires a good alignment. Ninjas are able to use the same equipment as a fighter, but they fight better both unarmed and unarmored. They land more critical attacks than any other class. They have average hit point growth and are able to deal with traps like a thief. Ninjas are the strongest frontline class in the game, and due to their high stat prerequisites, you cannot start the game with this class. Ninjas are the only elite class that require you to be evil. And here's a few more tips and tricks to guide you to the best party available. In order to win the game, it's best to eventually switch your character classes to elite ones, but your stats randomly reset when you change your character class, so it's ideal to start with elite classes so your stats remain high. You'll notice right away that this means only a gnome can become a ninja from scratch, and even that requires an awesome bonus roll of 53. However, you can expect to roll double digits reasonably often, and you only need to get above 20 for 3 characters. A roll of 35 to 40 will get you to a lord, depending on the race you choose, while a roll of 20 to 25 will get you to a samurai right away. If you don't have the patience to roll up your lords and samurais from scratch, you can take any large rolls you get and distribute the points so that the character is almost elite. Then choose fighter. When you level up enough, you go back to the training grounds and change the class of that particular character to what you want. Although the character will become elite, he will have his stats randomly reset to low stuff. This is not really so bad because the elite status will start to kick in pretty quick. The main goal is to have a party with 3 ninjas on the front line, 2 evil elven wizards, and 1 evil elven cleric in the back. And I'm going to share 4 secret options on how to get and keep ninjas in your party. If you really want a ninja from the start, you'll have to sit around for hours choosing an evil gnome as a character until you roll a 60 or something very near 60. Choose samurai or fighter if you don't have quite enough, and level up until you can switch to ninja. There's 4 options for your ninja. Option 1. Now, in order to make a party that this ninja can travel with, you have 4 options. You can either make an entire party of evil and neutral characters, that lets you have a samurai but not lords, or you can do a very special trick. Option 2, take your ninja into the maze. Press select and choose quit from the little menu. This brings your menu back to town, but the ninja is still in the maze. Now choose a group of whoever else you want to be in the party, up to 5 other adventurers, then go into the maze. Press select again while standing on the first square and choose search. You will find the ninja and he joins your group regardless of your good and evil conflicts. Option 3, you can take any good characters you want to travel with the ninja and fight groups of friendly enemies until their alignment is forced to be evil. This may take a lot of battles, but it works eventually. But do not do this if the character is not already the elite class you intend them to be, because you won't be able to switch a lord if the character becomes neutral or evil. And a 4th and final option for your ninja. By encountering friendly enemies and not fighting them, you may eventually turn your ninja to good. You're going to go through lots of throwaway characters, characters that just didn't get the big bonuses that you wanted. But don't throw them away. You'll have 20 slots in the inspect roster of the training grounds to fill before the game won't let you create any more adventurers. Hey, do you want money for stuff? Hell, we all do. Leave the training grounds and go back to the castle menu. Then go to Gilgamesh's Tavern and add characters to create a party. In the character menu, you'll have an option to pool gold, and everyone in the group can give that character their gold. You can continue to do this as long as you delete characters and create new ones in the training grounds. Of course, once you create a character worth keeping, they should be holding on to all of the money. Once you've collected an ample amount of money, head to the castle menu, then to Boltax's trading post. There's a lot of equipment in this game, a lot of it. The most important being the Knight of Diamonds armor, obviously. If you want to know a little more about the weapons and armor, there's guides online, but I will tell you about a few special things to look for in the dungeon. When you get to the lower levels of the maze, you'll find a lot of special items. Your wizard should be able to identify them. Some of the items are cursed, but they'll have names like Corroded Chain or Sword of Swishing, so it'll be obvious. A good rule of thumb is, if the name sounds cool and it can be sold for a big pile of gold at the trading post, it's good. So hang on to it. Buried in the dungeon are one-of-a-kind items that do great against specific enemies, and there's armor dedicated to helping certain classes. Unlike the Knight of Diamonds armor, they are found randomly and not set in specific spots in the maze. And remember, ninjas don't use weapons. Besides Boltak's trading post, another hotspot to visit during the game will be the Temple of Cant. Here, your party members can be resurrected and cured from various diseases and spells. You now possess all of the tools to help create the most powerful evil party to collect all of the Knight of Diamonds armor. Was a party like this available in the very first Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord for the NES? This video right here will tell you everything.